There you go. That's okay. All right. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Cyrus Sigari with UP.Partners. We're an early stage venture capital firm that's investing in what we call the key enabling technologies that can support a multidimensional future. So helping move people and goods cleaner, faster, safer, and at lower cost. And how cool what we just listened to, the folks at Volocopter. And there are about 400 companies today that are developing some sort of new way of moving yourself or things through the sky. And just to kind of set the stage, I've got a quick little video that shows incredible companies like Volocopter and others that are doing these awesome things. So if the volume's ready to go, let's play that video. You know, it's incredible that this upcoming year is the 60th anniversary of the Jetsons. And that we're actually getting to start to live and feel the real Jetsons happening in front. So, but you have to beg the question, why is this all happening now? I'd be curious if anybody in the room has ever owned or flown a radio controlled helicopter. Handful of folks, okay? I've been flying for 30 years. I started flying with radio controlled helicopters as a kid. If you've had one, right? Radio controlled helicopters are really hard to fly. They're very noisy. They're expensive, and they were nothing more than a niche toy for a long time. And then all of a sudden, you got this world of drones that started to show up. And so what's cool about drones is now like anybody can fly them, and they started to become ubiquitous. And there's some key drivers that allow that to happen. One is this concept of distributed electric propulsion. 2 is battery life that's useful. And 3 is the concept of control systems that a 4-year-old can use. But I would offer none of your lives have been positively affected by drones yet, until you add the 4th layer. Now that 4th layer is the age of AI-driven autonomy, where you can use these 3-dimensional robots to do things for you, provide you with insights, data, deliver things, and ultimately put us on a pathway where we can move ourselves through the sky, like in this incredible Leia 250, which is a company we're gonna talk about in just a second. So the way we think about the world, and I wanna recognize John and the team here at CoMotion, that you're not just thinking about things on the ground, things on the sky, you think about mobility broadly. And that's how, as investors, we think about it as well. So from things on the ground to things in the sky to moving people, moving goods, this is really the lens of mobility that collectively as humanity, we got to look through. And if you think about the impact to society, I'm going to give you a stark statistic. Only 1 out of 5 human beings has ever been % of humanity doesn't have that today. I believe that's going to change pretty rapidly, and the consequences to society are going to be extraordinary. Here's a research that Morgan Stanley had done in terms of what the economic impact could be potentially over the next 20 years. Now, what you're looking at is 3 different categories of economic impact over 20 years, $1.5 trillion. You've got the blue, which is the revenue generated from moving things in the sky. You got the orange, which is revenue generated from moving people in the sky. And then the vehicle, selling volocopters and all those other things. Those are the green things. The next 10 years alone is expected to be 50 times larger than the global helicopter industry. It's stunning. Most of that revenue coming from moving things in the sky. If you move into the second 10 years, that's where 8% of the growth is expected, most of it coming from moving people. And if you look at history, it's a great teacher. Beginning of the aviation industry, the first industry that really took off was the airmail industry. That's how we proved out navigation, technology, infrastructure, this, that, and the other. Once we get to the level of safety and reliability, we'll put people on these things. We think the next 10 years is equivalent of the airmail industry. The following 10 years, the equivalent of the commercial airline industry. And there's a number of companies moving things in the sky today that are changing people's lives, saving people's lives, and doing it in ways that, frankly, you wouldn't have ever thought of. So I'll start with one company called Zipline. Zipline is now a 6-7-year-old company that started off with a mission to deliver blood using drones in Africa. 50% of the blood in Rwanda and Ghana today is being delivered to the point of service using drones. Every 2 minutes, a drone's taken off, saving somebody's life. Number one use for Zipline drone, women giving birth that didn't have access to blood. This is incredible. They've saved theoretically up to close to 20,000 lives by using payload through the sky due to poor ground infrastructure. They just launched operations in Bentonville, Arkansas last month with a little company called Walmart. So we're not that far away from being able to get our things through the sky with a right-sized vehicle as opposed to a 3,000-pound truck that's burning gas. Another company called Wing. This is a Google company, which is providing a drone delivery service for retailers. So once this rolls out across the country, you will get on the Wing app, you'll pick what you want, and a drone will deliver it. They're operating today in Scandinavia, Virginia, and Australia. Last year, they did 100,000 delivery flights. This year, they'll do 500,000 delivery flights. Number one requested item, coffee. When you get people their coffee, the moment they want it, they get it up to 5 times a day. This is groundbreaking stuff, folks. And of course, the folks over at Amazon, they're pretty interested in how you get your things really quickly as well. They've been working on this for quite some time. There's another company called Skydio. Skydio is, in our opinion, the most advanced flight autonomy company in the world that's deployed their technology in drones. So what you're seeing here is a drone following a mountain biker. There is no pilot. It's using AI and computer vision to lock onto a target and do its thing. The implications here are exceptional. Infrastructure inspection, safety, security, delivering things. It goes on and on. The bottom line is it's a big deal. If you look at venture capital mobility broadly, it's a relatively new thing. Most of it has come since 2015. This is across all forms of mobility, all the things that John and his team here are trying to inform you about. But if you look at that little sliver at the top, this is the flying stuff. Okay, it's been de minimis. Well, this chart only goes to 2019. If you fast forward into present day, and this is like as of 4 months ago, so it's eclipsed it. We are already 5x what we were last year, and last year was 5x the year before in terms of dollars going into the future of moving things in a multidimensional world. One of those companies is the company you just heard a moment ago. The ecosystem's exploding. One of my partners, Adam Grosser, company he launched, taking public, invented the cable modem, launched the first broadband network throughout the United States. That was somewhere near 20 years ago. He goes, Cyrus, this is the exact same thing we saw at the beginning of the internet. It's happening with the Internet of Matter now. So this is kind of hard to read, but just gives you a scope of how many big projects are going on right now. So what you're seeing at the bottom are the names of all these manufacturers, from Archer to Beta to EHang, and these are their orders. And these orders include from American Airlines to Go Airlines to Azul Airlines to SF Express, all over the world. You have companies that are starting to make bets in this space and recognizing that the future of moving people and goods is a little different than we're used to. Of course, you just heard a lot about this wonderful company in Germany, Volocopter. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about them, but they're notable. We're big fans of them, and we're hoping they continue to be successful. Now, what's interesting about this space is it's a geopolitical thing. I'm sorry, it's more than just a building a great company. Every major superpower in the world wants to have a major play in this space. And one of them is a company called EHang based in China. And what's super cool is when you start to take advantage of the third dimension in a different way, you can solve different problems differently, like putting out a fire in a skyrise. We got a lot of big skyrises here. How do you put out a fire on the 50th floor? You got to, you can start to think about what the implications are when you solve things this way. Out of Brazil, there's a company called Embraer, third largest aircraft manufacturer in the world. They spun off their eVTOL project and created a new company called Eve. So this is the South American play, if you will. Archer, another company that's gone public via SPAC here in the United States. Incredible team that's trying to solve this problem a little differently. Vertical Aerospace, this is the UK solution to the space. They actually had the most amount of orders of all the companies you saw on the screen previously. And if you think about the UK, aerospace is a big deal. Rolls-Royce jet engines powers nearly half the airliners in the world. Their whole ecosystem is about to get disrupted. They want to stay ahead of it, and vertical aerospace is the equivalent of the Rolls-Royce for this industry. it's not just about taking things off vertically with the sort of things you just saw. This is a company called Electra.Aero, which is a logistics solution. And when you can use distributed electric propulsion on the leading edge of the wing, you can create a tremendous amount of thrust in a very short period of time, and you can take off in short distances. So this is what we call eSTOL, electric short takeoff and landing. Really cool, interesting company founded by a really smart guy. Company we're really excited about that we're investors in is called Beta Technologies. This is incredible. This aircraft is already, this is a real thing. This isn't a computer image. It's flying around today as we speak. It's already set the world record for longest electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle flight. They just raised over $400 million led by Amazon and Fidelity. Our largest customers are UPS, United Therapeutics, the military, and a bunch of others that we can't talk about quite yet. But you're going to hear more and more about this company in the not so distant future. Up in Northern California, awesome company called Joby Aviation. They started this thing way back before anybody else was talking about it. And we're really, really grateful for them because they kind of started this big motion. What's incredible about Joby is it's freaking quiet. This video you're seeing here, I took just a few weeks ago. And if you could turn the volume up so everybody here can hear how quiet this thing is, it'll blow your mind. It sounds like an air conditioner. And noise really, 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 really matters. So this is being operated by So this is up at their test facility up at Hunter Liggett, the Army base up there. Lilium, that's another one of the major German players. Really cool, distinct design with articulating trailing edge with multiple small electric turbines on the backside. And so the backside of the wing goes down. It can take off vertically and then fly forward really fast. Hey, thanks for getting Wisk over here. That's so cool, John. That's awesome. And the folks at Wisk, they're special. You got Boeing and Larry Page that have gone at this problem with a very rational pathway of going fully autonomous. They know it's going to take a much longer time to get to, but if you want to get to scale, you got to go fully autonomous. And they're testing real time as we speak. Incredible team. I'm really excited to see them here at CoMotion. I think it's relevant to talk about aviation sustainability. Like you can't walk out of here or anywhere without running into that word. Aviation is a big, big, big producer of CO2 emissions. And if you look at some of the commitments that are being made across the world around the future of aviation, there's a couple of key pathways to get to net zero in aviation. The largest is something called sustainable aviation fuel, SAF. That's where you take organic matter that's already on the surface of the earth, you put it through a chemical process and you create jet fuel. And the products of this results in an exhaust that has no contrails. Why is that important? Contrails actually have like a greenhouse effect. Light gets underneath it and it gets the atmosphere a lot warmer. So this is a drop-in fuel to jet airliners as we speak. And then there's all sorts of new things like hydrogen, carbon offsetting, and electric powered system for airliners. If you want to talk more about that, here's the pathway to get to net zero between a combination of sustainable aviation fuel, hydrogen, and electric. But the bottom line is, and here's the big thing to take away, is 73% of CO2 emissions for aviation, just when you do the math on how long it takes to certify things and where we are with power density, the only near-term way to get there for the next 30 years is through sustainable aviation fuel. There's a really cool company called ZeroAvia that just signed a partnership with one of our partners, Alaska Airlines, to retrofit a turboprop that you're seeing right here to fly completely on hydrogen. This is cool. This is happening as we speak. Now, the thing with hydrogen is you have to go relatively short distances. You can't go very far. I'm so excited to see that Hyundai's here. Or their new name under Supernal, if I'm not mistaken. But folks, if you take for a moment to recognize that one of the largest automotive manufacturers in the world has leaned in the way they have into this space, you should too. And Hyundai has committed significant capital resources to really help move the needle. And this is, as far as you can tell, the Korean play. So these are almost like nation state plays as much as they are anything else. I've been flying for 30 years. I fly a helicopter. I fly around this town almost twice a week. In Los Angeles, every building over 5 stories has to have a helipad on it. Guess how many can be used? About 2. Okay. And the problem is noise, and not really a thing that's used for humanity broadly. It's kind of just for the rich and famous. And we're about to enter a period of time where this city is about to be the leader in it, because we literally have so much of the infrastructure ready to go once we've got some regulatory changes and a little bit of infrastructure adapting these facilities. So with that, really grateful to be here. Again, thanks to John and the team at CoMotion for putting this great group together. And if you've got any questions, you can drop me an email or text me or whatever you want. And have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much. Oh yeah, we got a panel to sit in now.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Cyrus, for that whirlwind tour, so to speak. Take a seat
Yeah,
up
okay.
here, and I'll invite up to continue the conversation the moderator and his panelists for the next session, Starburst co-founder and COO Van Espavodi, who will carry this forward. Thanks, Van.